not feel special.
Or the one she lives in fear of.
Get off of her!
American Idol's Tamira Gray.
I thought he was going to hit you.
Well, he didn't.
Has he ever?
On Boston Public. Followed by Married by America, all new Fox Monday. Fox Monday, the Married by America couple spend their first night together.
This is where your lives as a couple really begin.
Will it be a match made in heaven?
What's going on, baby?
Something real is happening.
Or a marriage from hell?
I can't push something that's not there.
Married by America continues at 9, 8 Central Fox Monday.
The 10 o'clock news is next, right here on Fox Rochester.
During Clover's Best Buy sale, you'll get huge savings. Make no payments and pay no interest on financing for 12 full months on a complete pool package and installation. 10 luxury spas, 5 big spas, plus Best Buys on direct vent and vent-free gas fireplaces and gas logs. Only at Clover.
Vision Ford, your #1 Ford dealer, does it again. We're ready to break all sales records with over 400 vehicles available. Hurry in for our lowest prices of the year and save. New 2003 Focus with 0 down from $169 a month. New 2003 Explorers 4x4s or F-150 Super Cab 4x4s with 0 down from $299 a month. New 2003 Taurus or Escapes with 0 down from $249 a month. Only at Vision Ford with a $1,000 lowest price guarantee. Free lifetime oil changes included. A $750 value and service hours until midnight. Your #1 Ford dealer does it again. Vision Ford of Greece.
Excuse me. The New York Lotto jackpot is now $23 million.
Cool.
I'm Melanie Barnes. Tonight, we talk to a very happy Sheriff O'Flynn. Crime is down in his county. And we get new perspective tonight on the Elizabeth Smart disappearance.
And I'm Jennifer Gladstone. The House takes on medical malpractice. We'll tell you how their decision could affect you. Plus, anger management and parenting classes make for a too-good reunion.
Good evening, I'm Melanie Barnes. The numbers are looking good. That's according to Monroe County Sheriff Patrick O'Flynn. Crime statistics released today show crime is down in the county.
County law enforcement officers are standing proud today. They say efforts on the streets and in the classroom are paying off.
We obviously have had our patrols out there, and we've been working with different programs in conjunction with the city and other jurisdictions.
Overall, crime went down from 2001 to 2002 by 6.2%. Some big drops include the number of forgeries and sex offenses. Assault and DWI also went down in significant numbers.
I would hope that not only our enforcement efforts are having an impact, our education efforts, as far as people being less of a target and being able to inform us when they see something.
A few things did go up. There is one high number the force is particularly proud of.
Excuse
me. The New York Lotto jackpot is now $23 million.
Cool.
I'm Melanie Barnes. Tonight, we talk to a very happy Sheriff O'Flynn. Crime is down in his county. And we get new perspective tonight on the Elizabeth Smart disappearance.
And I'm Jennifer Gladstone. The House takes on medical malpractice. We'll tell you how their decision could affect you. Plus, anger management and parenting classes make for a too-good reunion.
Good evening, I'm Melanie Barnes. The numbers are looking good. That's according to Monroe County Sheriff Patrick O'Flynn. Crime statistics released today show crime is down in the county.
County law enforcement officers are standing proud today. They say efforts on the streets and in the classroom are paying off.
We obviously have had our patrols out there, and we've been working with different programs in conjunction with the city and other jurisdictions.
Overall, crime went down from 2001 to 2002 by 6.2%. Some big drops include the number of forgeries and sex offenses. Assault and DWI also went down in significant numbers.
I would hope that not only our enforcement efforts are having an impact, our education efforts, as far as people being less of a target and being able to inform us when they see something.
A few things did go up last year: the number of traffic violations and the number of police calls. In fact, that's risen consistently for the past 5 years. There is one high number the force is particularly proud of. More than half of the crimes committed in Monroe County in 2002 ended in an arrest or some type of resolution.
We're very excited about that. We've always had a high number. This one was just unbelievable, and I had to actually double check with the chief deputy because they said 56% is a very, very high rate.
In fact, that is twice the national average. Rochester police were able to defuse a potentially fatal situation last night by using a beanbag gun. A man was threatening to stab his girlfriend, but police were able to stop him with force that doesn't kill. Reporter Tim Cassidy joins us now with the details. Tim.
Well, that's right, Melanie. The suspect had 2 knives, one to his girlfriend's throat and one in her back. But 2 shots from the beanbag gun were enough to stop him. The standoff happened last night at this home on Leo Street. Pablo Rosado told police he was going to kill Marival Gonzalez. The police, however, opted to use the beanbag gun instead of deadly force. It's only the second time police have used the beanbag. The first time was last summer on East Main Street, but the outcome wasn't the same. Police used the beanbags on Willie Carter, but he still charged at officers with a knife. Carter was then shot and killed. The police chief says last night's use of the beanbag was a success, and he's confident it provides officers with options.
They are in the receiving end of some of the toughest situations, and at least to give them tools to make decisions. And, you know, I'm very confident last night if there was no opportunity for the beanbag, then I think Sergeant Musco and his team would have made the right decision, but they saw an opportunity and they made it. And I think if that tool wasn't available, he wouldn't have had the option. So at least he did have the option, and I think we all can thank God that it worked last night.
Now, Pablo Rosado is in jail tonight, charged with assault and unlawful imprisonment. The RPD is also waiting to be able to start using the taser gun. It shoots darts into a person, paralyzes them for a few moments so police can gain control of dangerous situations. Melanie?
All right, thanks, Tim. The prosecution has wrapped up its case against Eric Parsons. He's the Romulus man accused of setting the fire that killed his wife and 4 children back in November of 2001. The prosecution called dozens of witnesses in the last 2.5 weeks, including a woman who says she had an affair with Parsons in the months before the fire. The defense expects to call 5 witnesses. Closing arguments look likely by early next week. One day after her reappearance, we are learning more tonight about the abduction of 15-year-old Elizabeth Smart. Elizabeth has told police she was taken by knife point from her home and taken to nearby foothills where she could hear people calling her name. Her father says he believes she was brainwashed during the 9 months she was gone. We'll have more on the Smart case in about 10 minutes with News Central. This case has captured the nation's attention and is stirring up emotions right here in Rochester. Reporter Kelly Badger talked to local people with special insight on this case.
You always have to keep hope. Children do come home.
And she did come home. Elizabeth Smart now back with her family after being kidnapped more than 9 months ago.
Because she was abducted by a non-family member. That tends to be the most serious of abductions.
So serious that only 2% of kids in Elizabeth's situation return home alive. Janine Lucas with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children here in Rochester says the information the Smart family provided was the key to solving the case.
We encourage families and we encourage law enforcement, if an abduction has occurred, to look at who may have been in your home or in your community or on your street during a given time period.
And that encouragement seemed to work. In fact, officials received statistics from last year that say that there were no reports of non-family abductions in New York State.
Take a quick break, come back with your call.
Local radio show host Bob Lonsberry also hosts a show in Salt Lake City, the home of Elizabeth Smart.
Response from the beginning has been overwhelming. It's a community that takes action. The family called for volunteers to search. Tens of thousands literally came. People put flyers all over. They traipsed through the mountains looking for the girl.
And that's what helped the Smart family get through the 9 months without knowing where their daughter was.
I think community support and their religious faith, the whole thing is wrapped up in their religion. They're Mormons. The community there is 70% Mormon.
Now the Smarts are going to have to rely on their faith to help Elizabeth get through the difficult months and years ahead.
94% of the cases that we work, children are recovered. They're just not as high profile as this one, but that's why we're here every day for good news like this.
Kelly Badger, the 10 o'clock news.
Lucas also credits the Amber Alert system for helping in the search for missing children. The alert was actually used last week in portions of New York to help find a missing baby in New Jersey. That coating of snow out there today isn't really a sign of what's to come. Actually, it's going to warm up. Let's get our first look at the weather with meteorologist Elizabeth Hart.
Melanie, it's nearly the middle of March, and it's a little depressing that our radar still looks like this. The last of the snow moved out about midday from the metro area. This is the perspective from about 8 hours ago. You can see the snow band just south of the thruway pressing through Elmira, Binghamton, the Capital District. And we still have a lingering rain-snow mix out across Long Island. Also a couple of snow showers popping just north of Watertown, but most of upstate New York now in the clear with the exception of a few clouds that will filter through Buffalo and up throughout Monroe County as well. Without much cloud cover, it's going to be quite chilly overnight tonight. We will dip down into the lower teens in the city and see some single digits out in the suburbs. We'll only warm to near the freezing mark tomorrow. Sunshine will be one redeeming factor, but here's the other. This is going to be the last winter-like day we'll see for quite some time. We'll talk more about that big warm-up in just a bit. Melanie?
Thanks, Liz. The bankrupt Sabres have apparently found their savior, Rochester billionaire Tom Golisano. An NHL source says Golisano has signed an agreement to buy the team. He scheduled a news conference for 1:30 tomorrow afternoon at HSBC Arena.
Paytech Park is getting closer and closer to reality. We'll take a closer look at the plans later tonight in sports.
Coming up tonight on News Central, a major victory for Senate Republicans. The partial birth abortion bill sails through and is now headed for the House.
The 10 o'clock news brought to you by Summit Federal Credit Union.
The Summit Federal Credit Union, in association with Roland Williams Youth Lifeline Foundation, has brought the financial literacy program to our community. Designed specifically for our youth, the program focuses on teaching kids about financial responsibility and the important role it plays in the success of their future.
Who can tell me what the two components are that make up a spending plan? Misha.
I think that'd be income and expenses.
The financial literacy program, teaching our children how to be financially responsible in preparing for their future.
Let's take a look at how Ford Ranger stacks up against the competition. Ranger gives you more front and rear legroom than Dodge Dakota, an available 5-speed automatic transmission not available in Toyota Tacoma, and Ranger Super Cab offers a 4-door version, while Chevy S10 Extended Cab only offers 3. And right now you can get into a rugged new Ranger with red carpet option financing for just $189 a month. So why look at anything else?
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
You know you shrunk it. Tell me you shrunk it.
Jerry's got shrinkage.
It's shrunken.
Next, Seinfeld. Tonight at 11 on Fox Rochester.
At GMC, being professional grade means you do things better. So we built the 2003 Envoy with more horsepower than Ford or Jeep. More front head and legroom, too. GMC Envoy. We are professional grade. GM owners or lessees get $3,000 total cash back on a new Envoy plus $500 bonus cash. See the pros at your Rochester area GMC dealers.
Drawn into
into a nightmare.
I dreamt I was on a planet in the middle of a battle
and drawn into a war.
These are real memories.
Everybody down!
Impossible to believe. Impossible to escape.
We murdered these people!
On the next Star Trek Voyager.
Tonight at midnight on Fox Rochester.
No more partial birth abortion, so says the Senate. Now it's up to the House of Representatives. Hi everyone, I'm Jennifer Gladstone. Here's the latest from News Central. Opponents call it barbaric, and today the Senate overwhelmingly voted to ban the procedure known as partial birth abortion. There are still a couple of hurdles, but they're small ones, and pro-life groups are already claiming victory, while pro-choicers warn this ban reaches farther than you think. They voted nearly 2-1, and today the pro-life side of the debate claimed victory.
We are just gratified that today the Senate overwhelmingly, by a lopsided margin of 64-33, banned the procedure known as partial birth abortion.
President Bush calls today's action an important step toward building a culture of life in America, but pro-choice advocates see the decision as a stunning blow.
And it's clearly part of a strategy that's being employed by the White House and their allies in Congress to get one more anti-choice vote on the Supreme Court and then take away important protections of a woman's right to choose.
Pro-life groups call the bill humane.
It's a rogue procedure, and it's an inhumane procedure, both to the mothers and to the babies, especially to the babies.
But on the other side, the word of choice is unconstitutional. They claim the wording of the ban can be used to outlaw much more than the one procedure known as partial birth, especially methods used in legal second trimester abortions.
So it says a woman really doesn't have a right to choose before the fetus is viable, that politicians can step in and make medical decisions, personal, private decisions that should be left to a woman and the doctor.
The measure still has to pass the House. It made it to President Clinton's desk twice, but never got signed. Both sides of the abortion debate agree this time the bill will become law, but even the president's signature will not be the end of the road. Lawsuits are already being promised.
Today was a big loss, and we're hopeful it won't turn into an even bigger loss at the Supreme Court.
We're still facing a Supreme Court, 5 justices to be exact, who think that Roe v. Wade covers partial birth abortions.
It could take a couple of years, though, for the issue to get to the Supreme Court, and by that time, the balance of power may have shifted. Right now, there are 5 justices that lean pro-choice. One retirement could change all that. So what do you think? That's our question of the day. Should partial birth abortions be legal? Go to our website, www.newscentral.tv, and cast your vote. And here are the results of last night's question. We asked, are you for or against the death penalty? 64% of you said you're for the death penalty. 36% said they're against. While the Senate cast their votes, the House tackled the medical malpractice problem, trying to figure out a way to stem soaring costs. They passed a bill that caps punitive damages awarded in medical malpractice suits. Supporters say it brings sanity to the liability system. Opponents argue it cheats people out of compensation. The bill now heads to the Senate. And if the FDA gets its way, barcodes will soon be required on all drugs given to hospital patients. The barcodes will be matched to patients to ensure they get the right dose, the right medicine at the right time. Drug errors kill some 7,000 hospitalized patients every year. It took just 2 phone calls to 911 for police to find Elizabeth Smart. But the callers didn't actually recognize the 15-year-old missing girl. They noticed the man she was with, Brian David Mitchell, a former handyman who was wanted for questioning in the case.
Like quite a bit of something on. They're carrying sleeping bags and bags. And he's got a big, bushy beard, a mustache. Does he have a robe on, is what he's asking me to do. I can't tell a robe. It's pretty hot out here. He's wearing pants, and they've got, the women have got something over their head. I'm trying to, they look like they're definitely homeless people.
It wasn't until police got back to the station with Elizabeth that they confirmed her identity, despite the fact she told them her name was Augustine. Eric Hong has more on the investigation.
Well, for Elizabeth, it was a day to just be a kid and spend some time with her family. For authorities, a day to follow up on leads. This investigation now involving multiple states, including Montana, Nevada, and California. Authorities in San Diego County confirm Brian Mitchell, the man arrested in connection with Elizabeth's kidnapping, was in their custody just last month. Using the name Michael Jensen, Mitchell pleaded guilty to misdemeanor vandalism and was released after 6 days. Less than 2 weeks after his release, Salt Lake City police alerted nationwide authorities to be on the lookout for Mitchell after evaluating which of 3 composite drawings to release to the media.
If we had to go back over it again, that decision by the investigators, I think every and each one of them would say, I wish we had gone public with that photograph sooner.
One day after the search for Elizabeth came to a stunning conclusion, the Smart family released these photographs of their long-awaited reunion.
It's real. It's real.
An exultant Ed Smart offered some details about his daughter's 9-month ordeal. Smart said after she was abducted from her bedroom by knife point and taken to the nearby foothills, Elizabeth could hear searchers calling her name, but was unable to answer them. Smart said he believes Elizabeth was brainwashed by her captors, and after several months, taken to the San Diego area and possibly elsewhere, before returning to Utah.
Elizabeth is happy. She's well. And we are so happy to have her back in our arms.
Smart also reiterated his call for the U.S. House to pass stalled legislation that would create a national Amber Alert system.
Lives are lost, and the blood of those children is on someone's head.
In an answer to Ed Smart's pleas, the House Judiciary Committee says the Amber Alert is now at the top of its agenda.
We are here to say that protecting our children should never be just another partisan issue in this Congress. There is no excuse for delaying the enactment of the Amber Bill any further.
But the Amber Alert is tied up in a House committee where it's part of a larger bill. That bill would also raise penalties for certain crimes against children and boost money for child abuse and abduction prevention. Who can forget that awful videotape of the mother beating her little girl in a store parking lot? Well, after finishing parenting and anger management classes, Madeline Toogood has been reunited with her daughter, but she's not home free just yet. Toogood remains under supervision of the court, and for now, she cannot leave the South Bend area of Indiana. A vote on the latest Iraq resolution may be pushed back to next week. Then again, President Bush may not demand a UN vote on Iraq after all. A White House spokesperson says the president is ready to show flexibility because that's what his allies are asking for. But if the vote is delayed, the March 17th deadline for Iraq to disarm will also likely be postponed. That was one of the compromises under the British resolution. It's been criticized by France and Germany, and now Iraq is tossing it aside. Iraq's foreign minister called the move an attempt to beautify a rejected aggressive project. There's yet another sign tonight that the U.S. is deadly serious about disarming Iraq. The Pentagon is moving about 10 Navy ships to the Red Sea. All are armed with Tomahawk cruise missiles, the warheads usually used in the early hours of war. One unit that's already prepared is the 101st Airborne. They're now in Kuwait and just got a visit from Forces Commander General William Wallace. News Central's Craig Boswell spoke with the general as America prepares for war.
Soldiers with the 100 raced to formation as a Black Hawk helicopter brought in General William Wallace. Wallace is in charge of all Army Air and Army Ground forces in this region. The general wasted no time getting off the chopper and into the middle of all the troops, praising them for their quick deployment.
Got alerted on the 7th of February, 134 airplanes later, here you are in good old downtown Kuwait.
Then he had a special message for all of the pilots.
I think it's important that they understand who the guy is that's going to be calling the plays here in a couple days, maybe.
Wallace told them to train quickly and carefully and make sure pilots are able to fly and land safely in the desert, a message that was well received.
We can't just put the aircraft together then launch straight into Baghdad. You know, I mean, that's just not going to happen.
Many of these aviators led dozens of missions in Afghanistan and, in fact, had only 10 to 20 days between their work in Operation Enduring Freedom and their arrival here in Kuwait.
Yeah, we've been the busiest we've been since Desert Storm last time.
That's an indication of their importance.
Well, it's an indication of their importance, plus that if you look at the combat formations we got right now, we got a tremendous amount of our combat power tied up in attack aviation and the infantry formations of this division.
And Wallace, who is often called the Norman Schwarzkopf of this operation, says the key to victory, if war should become a reality, is to strike quickly. and he believes the 101st will be ready if the tensions with Iraq continue to escalate.
There's anxiety in the ranks without question, but it's not without a great deal of confidence as well.
How about your confidence? You ready to call the shots? You ready to go?
I'm ready to call a play or two, and whenever the president decides to hand the ball off, we're ready to go.
In Kuwait, Craig Boswell, News Central.
Prospects of a short and successful war sent stocks soaring. Today was the biggest one-day point gain this year for both the Dow and the NASDAQ. The Dow rose 270 points, or 3%, to close at 7,821. And the NASDAQ did even better, jumping nearly 5% to close at 1,340. We've got lots more local news coming up. Then later from News Central, why HBO is saying the show must not go on. Then, netting porn when you don't want to. But first, the point and the truth about tax and laws.
Remember the liberal tax and spenders who criticized the proposal to eliminate the double taxation on stock dividends because they claimed it only benefited the top 1%? Well, here are the facts they don't want you to know. According to the 1998 survey of consumer finances conducted under the auspices of the Federal Reserve Board, 84 million Americans, representing 43.6% of all adults, own stocks. This includes owning stocks directly or indirectly through equity mutual funds, 401k or similar accounts, or in pension plans. Moreover, 1 in 5 is under the age of 35, and 1 in 8 is over 65. Half have annual family incomes of less than $57,000, while 18% have family incomes of more than $100,000 per year. In addition, stock owners increased by more than 15 million from 3 years earlier. The discussion of whether stock dividends should be eliminated should at least start with the truth of who actually owns stocks. Unfortunately, these are the facts the liberals don't want you to know. That's the point. Go to newscentral.tv and tell us what you think. I'm Mark Hyman.
Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on.
It's Toyota's nationwide spring sales event, where value begins with an all-star lineup of quality Toyota trucks. Take advantage of the great spring values now with $1,000 cash back or 2.9% APR on Tundra, the truck Consumers Digest named a Best Buy 3 out of the last 4 years. And don't wait to take home Tacoma for a low 2.9% APR or $500 cash back. Get to Toyota's nationwide spring sales event, where value begins with quality.
Get the show on.
You're a great mom. You're beautiful and you're smart and you work so hard.
Billy, would you like me to call your mom and see if you can stay for dinner?
If you insist.
Introducing the Cinemeal Deal. Any large Pizza Hut pizza, America's favorite, with up to 3 toppings, just $11.99. Plus a generous order of our new freshly baked cinnamon sticks absolutely free. The $11.99 Cinemeal Deal. Spoil your family, not your budget.
You're powerful, smart.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
At Pizza Hut.
We're talking with Bob Barefoot, author of Death by Diet and the Calcium Factor. Is everyone calcium deficient?
By the time the average American's 35, he has more calcium going out of his body and into the body, and that's when it starts. By the time he's 60, about 98% are totally calcium deficient. The real key with calcium is it does not want to absorb in the human body. But you know, there is a substance out there where you get 100% absorption. And America hasn't heard about coral calcium. You just can't believe the miracle of calcium because you're a calcium critter. You're more calcium in your body than all the other minerals put together.
What is a good form of calcium? We say, do what the Okinawans are doing. They're getting 100%, and we see with just 3 little capsules a day, absolutely miraculous. You think that's one of the
results.
best forms of calcium to consume?
It's the best absorbable. You not only get the calcium, magnesium, and 70 other trace metals, you get marine microbes. Coral calcium will become the nutrient of the 21st century, I guarantee you.
Call the number on that screen. This is important for your health.
At GMC, being professional grade means you do things better. So we built the 2003 Envoy with more horsepower than Ford or Jeep. More front head and legroom, too. GMC Envoy. We are professional grade. GM owners or lessees get $3,000 total cash back on a new Envoy plus $500 bonus cash. See the pros at your Rochester area GMC dealers.
The lowest prices, the latest styles, and the biggest selection. You'll find it all at Value City Furniture.
This week, choose from the hottest new living room packages, like this 2-piece super soft microfiber living room for just $8.99.
Or this smart pillow back design, also just $8.99 for the 2-piece package.
Or even this stylish slipcover look, paid just $7.99 for the sofa and love seat.
Great selection, tremendous savings, and 6 months same as cash. Get it all this week at Value City Furniture.
You just can't do any better.
It's called the Patriot Act, and some say it's a violation of your rights. Now, a local chapter of the New York Civil Liberties Union wants people to know about the new government policy. Dana Roselli was at their first meeting. She has more on this story. Dana?
Well, the act was passed in October of 2001, and civil liberties groups say it gives the government too much power. Tonight, the New York Civil Liberties Union held a meeting in downtown Rochester. It was an informational meeting to inform the public about an act that was passed shortly after September 11th. The union says the act gives the government the right to search your home without telling you and monitor your internet use. The union claims the government is using terrorism as an excuse to do this.
Whoever conceived this law, whoever voted for it, they should hang them, because it's an invasion in our privacy, and we don't have any rights anymore, and this makes sure we don't have any.
You may not fit the government's profile today, but you might fit it tomorrow. And if, God forbid, if your political ideologies are not in line with a government that has an unprecedented amount of power.
Now, the Civil Liberties Union will have another public meeting on March 19th at Nazareth College at 7 o'clock. It says there hasn't been enough publicity about the Patriot Act, and the purpose of these meetings is to inform the public. Melanie?
Thanks, Dana. Well, it sounds like a pretty good deal. Donate to the United Way, get a car. The United Way is once again doing its Drive Away sweepstakes to encourage donors to give to its annual campaign. GM has donated 4 2003 cars to be given away as incentives. Now, to enter the sweepstakes, you need to watch the United Way campaign video. It's at your workplace. Now, when you get out of your workplace this weekend, the question is, what are you going to do? It's Thursday, so we get some answers from our friends at 98PXY. Here's Sandy Waters with our Fox Rochester Weekend, sponsored by Rochester Made for Living.
Hey, how are you? It's Sandy Waters from Spezzano in the Morning. Yeah, I lost Scotty. I have no idea where he is. So we'll just go on without him. It's your Fox Rochester Weekend, and there's plenty to do this weekend. It's supposed to be great on Saturday for the St. Patrick's Day Parade. Finally, a St. Patty's Day Parade where it's nice out. It's going to kick off East Ave and Main Street. PXY is going to be in the parade. We're kicking off our Lips to the Blarney Stone. That'll be fun. 12:30 on Saturday. It's the Greater Rochester Home Show. Goes down at the Convention Center all weekend long. So if you have a house and you need ideas, this is where to go. Greater Rochester Home Show, Convention Center all weekend. Then the Stars on Ice. This is a big deal at the Blue Cross Arena. That kicks off 7:30 on Saturday. Sap, syrup, and sugar. Genesee Country Museum, 10 o'clock on Sunday. That'll be a fun event with the kids. And then the Amherst play. They play against Syracuse. 6:05 is game time. Sunday at, of course, the Blue Cross Arena. And that's what's going on this weekend. I'm Sandy Waters from Spezzano in the Morning with your Fox Rochester Weekend.
Thanks, Sandy. Well, for more information on events happening around the city, you can log on to rochestermadeforliving.com. And let's check some of the things to do this weekend that are all in a day's drive. We check the list every Thursday night as we celebrate our region. Syracuse is celebrating St. Patrick's Day in a big way with one of the biggest parades in the state. That's on Saturday. And on St. Patrick's Day itself, New York City, of course, has its parade. Bagpipers, high school bands, and more. It's a tradition dating back to 1766. And one of New Age's biggest artists will be in Buffalo Saturday night. Yanni performs with his band and full symphony orchestra. You'll find all this all in a day's drive information on our website, foxrochester.com. Later tonight, we'll show you what you've heard all day long, a radiothon to help the Golisano Children's Hospital act strong.
Tonight's entertainment report brought to you by your local Pontiac GMC dealers.
Renovations, installations, plumbing, kitchens and bath. Think D'Angelo's. D'Angelo's specializes in creative design ideas, expert plumbing service, and complete installation for your kitchen and bath. We realize people have different styles and different needs. That's why we take the time to create a room that is right for you. Visit our showroom with over 50 models of award-winning kitchen and bath designs, elegant bathrooms, and beautiful kitchens by D'Angelo's, North Union Street, Spencerport. Limited only by your imagination. D'Angelo's.
In this period of ever-increasing gasoline prices, Honda would like to proudly remind you that the Civic is one of the most fuel-efficient cars in its class. The Civic from Honda. Now you can get the 2003 Civic LX sedan for $159 a month for 48 months.
Nahum Suits. Nahum Dress Casual. Nahum Sport. Nahum Shoes. Nahum Fun. Nahum is where you want to be. Nahum's, 1498 Monroe Avenue. Be different.
Hey! That thing got a Hemi, right? Yeah! Well, now I got a Hemi, too! But I got something you don't got. Check this out.
Dodge Ram 1500. The Hemi legend continues. Grab Dodge's 770 powertrain limited warranty, plus 0% financing or $2,500 cash allowance. Ford, Chevy, and Toyota don't match this.
Welcome back to the 10 o'clock news. Yes, we did have a little snow today, but thankfully it didn't amount to a whole lot. We officially picked up 3/10 of an inch at the airport. But man, was it cold or what? 27 was all we could muster for the high. Normal for this time of the year, 41. And so far, our low is 16. I say so far because that is the current reading, and we are bound to drop off a couple more degrees before midnight. Southwesterly winds at 4 miles per hour, and the pressure at 30.30 inches of mercury, and it's still rising. We also have a few clouds around the region, but we are done with the snow, not only tonight, but for the next several days. Get this, it looks like we're going to have about a 6 or 7-day respite from any type of snowfall, and it's about time. We have had quite a snow season. Grand total up to 128.2 inches. Average is 86.4, so we have a 40-inch surplus when you take it all the way back to November, and we can certainly do with a little break. Unfortunately, the reality is that not only can we have snow in March, but out through April into May, and there are times that we've had snow in western and central New York in June. So let's just hope Mother Nature eases up on us a bit this upcoming spring. Not tonight, though, as far as the temperatures go. We'll bottom out near 12 in the city, 11 in Pittsburgh, cooler down to the south in Caledonia, 8 in Medina, northeasterly winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Add just a little wind chill factor in there. Through the day, we are going to see some sunshine, easterly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Afternoon highs right up near the freezing mark, but this one is the last winter-like day we are going to be seeing for quite some time. Here's what happens. Oh yeah, spring comes a few days early. Mid to upper 50s for the highs on Saturday. Sunny skies here. I love being able to say this. 60 degrees on Sunday with more sunshine. We take a little bit of a dip back down into the upper 40s on Monday. Can we manage? I think so, because on Tuesday, we're going to be right back into the mid 50s. Keep in mind, average highs for this time of the year, 41 degrees. Quick trip overseas. Check on the conditions U.S. troops are enduring in the Middle East. We still have an ongoing problem with sandstorms through portions of Iraq and into Saudi Arabia. But otherwise, fairly tranquil highs in the mid to upper 70s, really starting to warm up off the coast of Oman, and we do have some rain showers from the Iranian plateau all the way up to the Caspian Sea. Back at home, we've had some nasty thunderstorms in southeastern portions of Texas through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and now a line of storms forming just to the south of the Raleigh-Durham area. It looks like there's probably some large hail contained within those, and also some very gusty winds. That whole thing is going to stay well to our south as high pressure pressure moves in across eastern Canada. Sunshine, yes indeed, tomorrow. It will be cold as that area of high pressure moves off to the east, but here comes the warm front, and by Saturday we are going to be sitting pretty. Here's how it goes. 32 for a high tomorrow, way up there on Saturday, mid to upper 50s, 60 on Sunday. Monday looking for highs in the upper 40s, back into the mid 50s on Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, the official beginning of spring, we're in the 50s and 60s, and we could have a few rain showers. Melanie?
All right, thanks, Liz. Helping kids raise money for kids at Golisano Children's Hospital is the focus of a 4-day radiothon. Starting today, Mix 100.5 is taking to the airwaves at Strong Hospital to help them raise money for the Children's Unit. It's the 4th annual event, which has brought in over $400,000 in previous years.
Pound 31 is a free call on your Verizon wireless phone for tips to the 10 o'clock news.
Last night, I dreamed I was at the auto show. At the Chevy display, it was the coolest. New cars, future cars. What could be better than this?
How about 0 APR on a 2003 Trailblazer EXT? Or GM owners and lessees get $3,000 total cash back plus a $500 auto show bonus for a total of $3,500. This bonus cash offer ends March 15th, so hurry. See your local Chevy dealer today.
Plagued by 9/11 and a sinking economy, our state budget's in crisis. But is Governor Pataki's plan the answer? He'd make drastic cuts in education, meaning higher property taxes, and slash nearly $2 billion from health care for seniors, kids, and the working poor. There's a better choice for New York's economy. Limit these cuts by closing corporate tax loopholes and asking the wealthiest to pay a little more. Won't New York be stronger if we all share the burden?
Tired of disconnects, busy signals, paying for a second phone line? Stop wasting time and money. Get Roadrunner. Roadrunner is up to 50 times faster than dial-up. And right now, you can get Roadrunner for only 99 cents a day for 6 months. Just think, Roadrunner in your home within 5 days, and you'll save up to 35% for the next 6 months. This is the best offer of the year. Call 756-BEEP today.
We love it!
You know, opportunities like this don't come around every day. Like 1.9% financing for 60 months and $1,000 cash back on the 2003 Sentra at the Nissan Spring Sales Event. The thrill of driving a new Nissan. Now it's your turn.
A judge in Los Angeles says Robert Blake had the time, the opportunity, and the motive to kill. And with that, the judge ruled there is enough evidence to try Blake for the murder of his wife. But Blake did get bail and could be released from jail as early as tomorrow. Extreme hostility is probably what HBO is feeling towards Sopranos star James Gandolfini. The network is telling the crew of the popular show that filming has been suspended until a bitter contract dispute with the guy who plays Tony is resolved. Last week, Gandolfini sued HBO, demanding a release from his contract after being refused a great big raise. Actor Christopher Reeve is going bionic. Doctors for the paralyzed actor say he has had implanted electrodes into his diaphragm to help try to restore his ability to breathe on his own. Reeve has been on a respirator since he broke his neck in a horseback riding accident 8 years ago. Reeve is just the 3rd person to ever have this surgery. It's hard enough for parents to deal with their child in the hospital, but imagine your 4-month-old has to have a heart transplant and your husband is half a world away, a Marine stationed in Kuwait. That was the situation this week for Betsy Sellers.
He called the hospital right as surgery was wrapping up, and I was able to tell him that everything went well. And then I spoke with him just a little bit ago to let him know that recovery also is so far so good.
Dylan Sellers' mom says his heart is working wonderfully and his circulation is good. In fact, his little toes are pink for the first time in his life. And his father says, of course, he's relieved. Good news for the millions of women dealing with menopause. The FDA has approved a new low-dose hormone therapy that offers relief from common menopausal symptoms with less hormones. Many women stopped using hormone replacement therapy after reports suggested taking the drugs could lead to higher risks of cancer and heart disease. The approved PremPro tablet has 28% less estrogen. The click of the mouse could get you in a web of trouble, particularly if porn pops up. Even with the latest filter software, you may get more than an eyeful. Julie Valise reports.
You go online to a peer-to-peer network and conduct a perfectly innocent search for the likes of the Olsen twins or Pokemon. That's what they did at a congressional hearing.
These networks have become an increasingly popular mechanism for trafficking in very graphic pornography, including child pornography.
While the popular entries may seem harmless, the files found contain titles so graphic, we've had to black them out. A peer-to-peer network is one which allows users to share information directly with each other. The most recognized example is the now defunct Napster. But peer-to-peer networks are under fire for the sharing of pornography and child pornography loaded onto their servers by users.
It was not about recording company profits or freedom on the internet. It's about something more basic, how to raise children safely in today's digital age.
At a congressional hearing, members heard how popular peer-to-peer programs have become and how the number of pornographic files has increased with use.
There's the same child pornography problem that we observed in the summer of 2000, except it's 100,000 times larger now.
Napster was basically litigated out of existence because copyrighted material was being organized and brokered for distribution. These new servers aren't brokering their material, making them less vulnerable. Members of the committee say legislation isn't the solution to the problem. Instead, more parental understanding and involvement is the key. On Capitol Hill, I'm Julie Valise.
Anger management fails, pet chicken loses his life. How does that headline grab you? A Northern California man is accused of assaulting another guy he met in anger management seminars. The victim was hired to help with some home repairs, but then the pet chicken ended up dead. That set David Wilson off, and police say he slashed his friend's face, choked him, and threw him to the ground. Wilson is now charged with assault with a deadly weapon and vandalism. Is it a case of dead man dialing? Sprint sent a bill to David Towles at the Evergreen section of the Hillside Cemetery. That's been his address for the past 5 years because he's buried there. Even more ridiculous, the bill is for a whopping 12 cents. Sprint could not explain how the bill ended up at the cemetery, but the superintendent is now wondering if they should put mailboxes on all the monuments. I don't know about that, Jonas. Maybe a little much.
You know, I think you should pay your bills, death or whatever. It doesn't matter. 12 cents is owed to a company that makes millions of dollars. They need that 12 cents.
Sports.
Yes, some sports. It's been an awful year for UCLA, but you know what? They still have some talent. Arizona found that out today. It's coming up next in Sports Central. But first, your local sports after the break. Let's just be under...
The 10 o'clock news brought to you by your local Volkswagen dealers.
Come on. Yeah, I'm still in the car. 10 minutes, an hour, I've got no idea. This is ridiculous.
Can't wait to get your new Jetta? With offers like this, why would you?
During Clover's Best Buy sale, you'll get huge savings. Make no payments and pay no interest on financing for 12 full months on 10 luxury spas. Complete pool packages. Plus, you'll get installation on any size pool for only $99 during the Best Buy sale. Only at Clover.
We're witnessing a college basketball miracle. Dick Vitale silent for an entire 17 seconds. On a personal note, for myself and sportscasters everywhere, I'd like to thank the crust, the juicy toppings, and the pizza delivery guy.
For fresh baked pizza at home. Play DiGiorno's Advance to the Dance. You could win a trip to the 2004 NCAA Men's Final Four, one of 70,000 prizes. Details on specially marked boxes.
5 years ago, I was scared. My babies almost didn't make it.
The Schwartz twins were born 3 months early.
The doctors and nurses here saved my babies.
Albany's drastic budget cuts mean more nurses being laid off.
The same nurses that saved my babies' lives.
Critical staff would be cut. Some hospitals might even close.
Our hospitals are already doing everything they can. Why would we push them over the edge?
Call now. Tell Albany to make a better choice.
03 F-250 Super Duty 4x4, $349 per month. We offer you a great deal.
At Webster Ford, we treat you like family.
Pound 31 is a free call on your Verizon Wireless phone for tips to the 10 o'clock news.
There is a new interim athletic director at St. Bonaventure, and he's from Rochester. Paul Grice lives in Pittsford and is a 1970 Bonnie grad. There's a new development in the plans to build a soccer stadium downtown. The Rochester Rhinos unveiled a new set of drawings for Paytech Park. The $25 million stadium will sit in the construction on the stadium is expected to begin in late spring, with the Rhinos playing their first game in June of 2004. The new stadium will seat 17,500 fans, which will help the Rhinos achieve Major League status.
Certainly Major League Soccer, as they look at expansion candidates, they're looking at facilities that have a capacity of a minimum of 17,000, 17,500. So this new redesign should meet their need of 17,500.
And Rochester will host some of the best players in women's soccer this spring. Tickets go on sale later this month, but now for the SU game highlights and more, here's Sports Central.
Jonas back with you here at Sports Central, and by looking at them, you'd think Steve Lavin has a better life than Dr. Phil. After all, Lavin has hair and eyes that look straight ahead. But truth is, the doctor's got him beat because he has a successful program. Lavin doesn't. This is UCLA Bruins 8-18 coming into today's game with top-ranked Arizona in the Pac-10 tournament. Jason Capono hits the three, scores a game-high 26. Bruins hang around. Arizona runs off the turnover. Hassan Adams gives to Channing Frye for the slam. Frye pours in 23. Wildcats would lead by 15. Bruins come back. Ray Young hits from downtown. That ties the game at 82. We're going overtime. And it's all UCLA in the extra period. Andre Patterson finishing with the slam. Wildcat star Jason Gardner awful all day. Goes 0 for 14 from three-point land. Shoots 2 for 20 overall. Bruins stun the Wildcats with the 96-89 upset. To the Big East tournament in Syracuse and Georgetown. Jim Boeheim looking like his usual unhappy self. Hoyer's passing might be the reason. Mike Sweetney, the beneficiary on the reverse. Georgetown up 1. But Syracuse takes the lead and they keep it with some good defense. Queth Dwaney the steal. Moments later, Carmelo Anthony providing the exclamation point, and the Cuse move on, beating Georgetown 74-69. Well, Slash moves to another team. Cordell Stewart signing a reported 2-year, $2.5 million deal with the Chicago Bears. ESPN.com reports offensive tackle Orlando Brown signs a 1-year deal with the Baltimore Ravens. Brown's career was derailed when a penalty flag hit him in the eye over 3 years ago. But now he's ready to make a comeback, and with his kids living in Baltimore, decides to become a Raven. Last year, a 13-year-old girl died after getting hit by a puck at an NHL game. Now her parents are suing the doctors and hospital who treated her. The suit contends doctors failed to see the extent of Brittany Cecil's brain damage after she was hit by a puck on the head at a Columbus Blue Jackets game. She died 2 days later. Her parents are claiming the tremendous amount of fluid buildup in her head should have been detected in the first of 2 brain scans taken. The Cecils settled their lawsuits with the NHL, Blue Jackets, and the specific player who shot the puck last month. For 5.5 months, Bud Selig has been silent about allowing Pete Rose back into baseball. But that changed today. The baseball commissioner publicly admitted he is considering Rose's application for reinstatement. Selig making the comments following a speech to sports business executives. The commission claims there's no timetable, and he didn't say he would definitely bring baseball's hit leader back to the game. He just believes it's time to consider the issue since Rose applied for reinstatement 5 years ago. Rose, of course, agreed to a lifetime ban back in 1989 following an investigation of his gambling. Well, now he must be in the front row. Bob Uecker makes the Baseball Hall of Fame as a broadcaster. Uecker played for the Milwaukee Brewers, but gets in because of his announcing career with the team. For years, he's just been a bit outside the hall, but now the man known most for his beer commercials gets in. Well, the toxicology reports are out, and ephedra did play a role in the death of Baltimore Orioles pitching prospect Steve Beckler. The Broward County medical examiner says significant amounts of the over-the-counter supplement was found in Beckler's bloodstream, and it did contribute to his fatal heat stroke. The 23-year-old was taking ephedra to lose weight during spring training when he collapsed.
It is my professional opinion that the toxicity of ephedra played a significant role in the death of Mr. Beckler.
The baseball world still buzzing about Iron Mike Piazza's brawl yesterday with Guillermo Mota. Guillermo must be French with the way he cowardly ran towards the dugout and away from the conflict. The Mets star tried to get to Mota after the game, but the pitcher had already left the clubhouse. These two have plenty of history. Astor Piazza tried to choke Mota. You can see he looks a little incensed there, getting hit by a pitch. You know, when I approach a woman at a bar, I often tell them, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man. No time to talk. They laugh at me. So I could have told Jason Capono, don't quote the Bee Gees. But he did. So he's our bonehead of the week. Especially because he quoted the Bee Gees on TV after his UCLA Bruins upset top-ranked Arizona. But even worse, he decided to sing one of their songs.
Our team has been through a lot this year, and it's been a tough ride, but I just got a little song for you guys that we're staying alive.
You know, night fever works much better after a game, I think. That'll do it for sports. More news after the break.
The 10 o'clock news brought to you by Truman's.
Have you heard about Truman's? What's so great about Truman's?
Are you kidding me? What's so great about Truman's? How about all the designer clothes for work, all the accessories? Come on.
Cool. $7 cleats means there's money left for toys, too.
What's so great about Truman's? The houseware and gift items. The juniors department. What's so great about Truman's? They have everything. Formal, casual, kids. You can always find something to wear at Truman's.
Drawn into a nightmare. I dreamt I was on a planet in the middle of a battle and drawn into a war. These are real memories. Everybody down! Impossible to believe. Impossible to escape.
We murdered these people!
On the next Star Trek Voyager.
Tonight at midnight on Fox Rochester. Our biggest discounts yet.
At least 20 to 50% off everything.
At Kmart's incredible store closing sale.
All spring apparel for the whole family, now 30% off.
The entire toy department just slashed to 40% off.
All cosmetics and fragrances must go now for 50% off.
Plus, take an extra 50% off already reduced fall and winter fashion clearance apparel.
Up to 75% off original prices.
Don't miss the biggest discounts of this sale.
At least 20 to 50% off everything.
Kmart's incredible store closing sale.
At these locations only.
In nature, speed and timing are crucial, and now you need both to get a great deal on a Jeep vehicle since the Best Values in America event won't be around for long. So act fast if you want great products, a great warranty, and great deals, like a generous cash allowance or a $339 a month lease on the 2003 Jeep Grand Cherokee for qualified lessees. So get to your Jeep dealer today, because timing is everything. Great products, a great warranty, and great deals all add up to the Best Values in America. Check one out today.
Hear that? It's the sound of the explosive deal you can get during Time Warner Cable's Mega Movie Marathon. If you don't have cable, this is your chance to get over 200 channels of digital cable for just $39.95 a month for 3 months. Plus, get 32 premium movie channels free. 6 HBO, 9 Showtime, Stars, Encore, Cinemax, the Movie Channel. Thousands of movies from the latest to the greatest free for 3 months. It's Time Warner's Mega Movie Marathon. Call to order now. 1-800-756-7956.
Papa's got a brand new bag.
What's new at your Pontiac dealer? Everything. GM owners and lessees now get $3,500 total cash back on any new 2003 Pontiac Grand Am, Grand Prix, and Aztec. Residency restrictions apply.
Papa's got a brand new bag.
Visit your Rochester area Pontiac dealer today.
The track too tough to take.
Sunday at 12:30 on Fox Rochester.
Let's take another look at stories that made headlines today. The Monroe County Sheriff says the news is good. A look at crime statistics for 2002 shows overall crime is down by 6.2%. Some of the biggest drops are in the number of forgeries, sex offenses, and DWI. City police are talking about a standoff overnight that ended the way they wanted it to. They were able to take down a suspect who had 2 knives without severely hurting him by using a beanbag gun. Last summer, a similar situation ended with a death. Now the chief says there's proof the beanbag can work. We got a new look at the future Paytech Park today. It's a 17,000-seat stadium located off Oak Street. Also today, the Rhinos announced a special season ticket costing $65. The first game is June 2004.
Melanie, we will see some very chilly overnight lows. We'll dip down into the lower teens in the city, and outside of Monroe County, probably see at least a few single digits. Tomorrow afternoon, even with the sunshine in place, will only warm to near the freezing mark. But then here comes spring a few days early. Highs in the mid to upper 50s on Saturday. Sunshine, that sunshine lingers through Sunday. Highs up near 60 degrees. Sunday night into Monday, we do see another little disturbance moving on in. That will bring us a chance of some rain showers Sunday into Monday. And in fact, unsettled afternoon highs back down into the upper 40s, but by Tuesday we're back into the mid 50s. Sunshine comes back Wednesday and Thursday when spring officially begins. The warm weather continues and we have a chance of some spring-like rain showers. Melanie?
Thanks, Liz. Here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow's 10 o'clock news. The prosecution in the Eric Parsons murder arson trial has wrapped up its case. Tomorrow, the defense begins. And Tom Golisano is reportedly buying the Buffalo Sabres. We'll be there tomorrow for what's expected to be the big announcement. Join us for that and more at 10 o'clock. Finally, tonight we have a look at Aurora and Yukon's new baby. Aurora and Yukon are the Seneca Park Zoo's polar bears, and the zoo is now showing their cub, born November 15th. They're doing it for a couple of reasons. One, they're asking the public to look at her and come up with a name, and two, she is something to see.
This little girl has been coming out for the last few days, so we decided to announce it today, and starting to play in the water, and we expect her to get cuter and cuter as the summer goes by.
Now, sure, she's getting cuter, but she doesn't have a name yet. You can help pick one with our Fox On site, sponsored by Roadrunner. The zoo's website is taking your suggestions, and you'll find a link at foxrochester.com. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for the 10 o'clock news.